Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq, with daily insight on the Nasdaq 100 Index, or the NDX, which is made up of 100 of the largest domestic and international non-financial innovative companies listed on Nasdaq. The NDX has been the barometer for U.S. large cap growth and also one of the best performing indexes over the last decade and a half, not to mention one of the most liquid index ecosystems in the world. Joining us this Monday afternoon, we have Chris Dearborn, Managing Director on Nasdaq's Market Intelligence Desk, for an update on technical levels to watch in the Nasdaq 100. And Chris, it was really interesting to see today's trade with stocks trading lower in the futures and to open trade, only to reverse action with consumer discretionary and communication services leading the way. So really what the question is, are we back into that risk on mentality?
It sure seems like that, right? We're at 4 weeks of higher highs, which is nice to see within the index. And more importantly, that buy the dip mentality seems to be there, though a little bit cautious because the volumes that we're seeing just aren't quite there. But remember, it's an August Monday. Volumes aren't expected to be extremely higher until much later in the year, September, October. So again, the moves here are kind of tongue-in-cheek, if you will, especially around the activity that you're seeing in the volumes. So the news generally was negative. That's why you saw the futures down, the market open lower. It is a nice reversal, almost a full percentage point from the low to the high right now in the NDX, and the chart looks fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, but to your point, the bond market's reading this a little bit differently. That is something that we need to be mindful of. That said, let's take a look at your first chart. Let's take a look at the actual number action here and the technical levels that you're looking at.
So the index has hit every target that we've looked at for the last 4 weeks, which is nice to see in a bull move. And the same what we saw on the way down back in May and early June. So right now we're looking at kind of a range-bound chart right here. Resistance is at 13,650, support's at 13,450. Look for it to kind of waffle back and forth a little bit. 50 to 100 point move above or below either level is really nothing to be concerned about. The target move here is the 200-day simple moving average, 14,046. If we close above the 13,650 resistance level, next level resistance is 13,900. Major support sits at 13,225.
And finally, your last chart here, taking a look at the constituents that are leading the way. We had mentioned that consumer discretionary and communication services was kind of providing a buoy to the overall market.
Yeah, Tesla had some positive news, adding about 25 points to the index. You've got a number of other companies that are doing well, Illumina, PDD, Gilead, all acting very well. On the point basis, though, when you look at it, Tesla's the number one, Apple's number two with 11 points, Microsoft and NVIDIA are also up there. You've got almost 75 constituents positive today, with only about 25 in negative. Friday, we're almost 90% of the constituents closed positive for the day. So we're building on that momentum despite the lower New York State Empire reading and the negative Chinese economic data that was released over the weekend.
All right, Chris, appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.